Welcome, Monday, February 9th, 2026. This is your daily sigh of relief. If you're an entrepreneur trying to keep up with what actually matters, this is for you. I go live every business day at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's now. And to the best of my ability, I give you everything that I think matters in the entrepreneurial world across business, AI, markets, platforms, and policy, all in 15 minutes or less. Sorry, I could hear myself. If we haven't met, my name is Qasim. I'm a welfare baby turned self-made multimillionaire. I help entrepreneurs who already have a real business but want clearer steps, better tools, and smarter ways to grow in a post-AI world. All of my content is and always will be free. If you want the Daily Sigh delivered directly to your inbox, go to dailysigh.ai. Let's dive in. I read the news so you don't have to. The voice story, you probably heard about this over the weekend if you were watching the travesty that was the Super Bowl. I say that tongue-in-cheek. I don't watch the Super Bowl. I didn't know who was playing until I asked Alexa later. But one of the ads came from the CEO of crypto.com, who paid $70 million for AI.com. I'm so used to saying AEO. It's so funny. It's just second nature now. He paid $70 million for AI.com and is now launching. We don't really know what yet. It's meant to build personalized agents in under 60 seconds. But when you go there, all it allows you to do is secure your handle, which, by the way, I strongly recommend you doing. So if you're watching this, go to AI.com and secure your handle. I was able to get AI.com/Qasim. I'm never able to get /Qasim, and I don't even have that, I have a super unique name. So go get something, whatever you got, your brand, your business, your name, your mission. Go get the handle on AI.com because it does feel like it's going to be relevant. And what was kind of cool was you get to secure your AI's handle and you get to secure your handle. So you get to name your AI something fancy. I named my AI Qasim AI because I lack all creativity. It's going to be really interesting to see what starts to happen with AI avatars and, how they're treated. If you were watching Moonshot with Peter Diamandis, they recently announced that we've effectively created Jarvis with OpenClaw, and a not insignificant amount of time of that episode was spent talking about what type of rights it deserves and, referring to it as though it were almost a living being or a living entity. And that might sound a little silly. Go watch the episode. It's for the smartest people I've ever heard, taking this conversation very, very seriously. On the OpenClaw note, do not install OpenClaw unless you really, really, really know what you're doing. I'm a technical Luddite, and I do not. And so, if you feel very confident as far as, what you're doing and how you're doing it, feel free to have at it. We did a relatively deep dive on OpenClaw because we were considering how much of it needed to be included in the training for my executive assistant agency. And what came back, let me just read this to you so y'all have it, because it is, it's scurry. Ready? Let me scurry you. Here are the facts. Critical security warnings. Major firms, including Cisco, CrowdStrike, and 1Password, have issued urgent alerts. 1Password came right out and said, do not run this on a company device. There isn't a safe way to do it. There's a propensity for one-click takeover. It suffered from a critical vulnerability that allowed attackers to gain full remote control of a host system simply by tricking the user into clicking into one malicious link. Malware-affected ecosystem. Its community marketplace, ClawHub, is heavily contaminated. Independent audits found that up to 20% of available skills are actually malware, like Atomic Stealer, designed to exfiltrate credentials and data. Privacy breaches. A recent leak in its social ecosystem, Moltbook exposed 1.5 million API tokens and 35,000 private emails due to fundamental security oversights during development. Unpredictable costs. While the code is free, the autonomous loops consume AI tokens at an alarming rate. Users have reported spending between $300 and $750 per month just on API billing for background tasks. That's funny to me. $750 a month just for API calls. I'm like, you are an amateur. And there's still some risks. The other thing is it's legitimately open source, meaning there's nobody with real accountability behind this thing. There's nobody to sue, basically. There's nobody whose PR gets really bad. So I'm not telling you not to use it. I'm saying that if you are going to use it, make sure you know what you're using. If you aren't a extraordinarily adept user, I would wait just a little while. And I'm a move fast and break things guy, but this thing scares me. Next story comes from Entrepreneur. It's called The Great Remote Talent Migration. Why it matters. Your biggest competitors are busy dragging their feet. While their best players kick back into expensive offices, there's a massive opportunity for you to steal their A players, according to Entrepreneur Magazine. 70% of workers are willing to accept a lower salary for the flexibility of a remote role creating a direct asymmetric advantage for SMBs. This allows small businesses to reduce overhead on physical office space while vastly expanding their potential talent pool. I feel like this was written in 2009. It's like, this has always been true. I don't know why this is news. And it's interesting because more recently, corporations are revitalizing attacks on remote work and saying that they're bringing everything back into the office. We'll see how that lands. Next story comes from TechCrunch. Gather AI lands $40 million for autonomous warehouse drones. Yikes. That sounds scary. Gather AI just raised a $40 million Series B round. Series B means that somebody was dumb enough to give money the first time. And I'm not saying that they're stupid. I'm saying that all Series Bs are, it's like, all right, we're going back again to deploy AI-powered drones that actively hunt for problems, wrong barcodes, expiration dates, and safety issues in physical warehouses. This curious AI model represents proactive rather than reactive automation, moving the needle for business managing physical inventory. It'll be super interesting to see that. The reason I think this story is so relevant is because it speaks to a solution that's, one standard deviation deeper than just like press the AI button. Smaller story bank from TechCrunch. OpenAI launches frontier platform for enterprise agents. This new platform for building and deploying AI agent fleets that integrate with existing systems for complex operations. This to me is a war on SMBs because it's a level of technological capability that's being removed from the SMB slate and developed specifically for enterprise businesses, which makes it more difficult to compete. This is where going niche ends up honestly making a lot of sense. When you're willing to compete on levels of granularity that don't scale, you kind of price yourself outside of the enterprise market's purview for a short period of time. News from Anthropic. Anthropic releases Opus 4.6 and challenges OpenAI ads. This is really funny. Anthropic's most powerful model yet includes direct internal tool use and a strategy focused on ad-free brand trust. Now, what's happening here is Anthropic's throwing grenades over at OpenAI and basically starting something of a philosophical war between ad-free and monetized AI models. Anthropic betting on the fact that you're willing to pay for AI in exchange for not having to have a bunch of ads shoved in your face and, more importantly, have your privacy infringed upon. And OpenAI has already let the cat out of the bag in so many ways by saying that they're going to move towards ad monetization. I think they're gonna have a really hard time backpedaling on that because they owe so many people so much money, and they need to consider shareholder value, which is just the death rattle for all things public. But we'll see. They haven't deployed it yet, so we'll see whether or not they continue to. I imagine they will, and if they do, if this impacts the change in the rollout, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Yeah, my preference would be to pay for AI personally. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I'm so sick of this is my life. That's all I used to do was run ads, and I think that it bastardizes ecosystems to a point to where they become non-functional. That happened to Meta. Imagine a Meta that we paid for instead of became the product of. That's an entirely different utility. Interestingly, though, as I say that out loud, Meta could not have reached the market cap that it's reached in a ad-free ecosystem. Nobody's willing to pay that much for the application, and so it makes sense that they veer and lean in that direction. And I think for the integrity of the application, ad-free would be better. A good case study of that is Craigslist. He refused to monetize, I think, anything but employment posts. And it's really survived the test of time. So I don't know. Uber acquires Getter's delivery arm. Uber is acquiring the Turkish quick commerce startup delivery business as market consolidation accelerates. This matters because small players in hot markets must find defensible niches or face being crushed by larger aggregators. The aggregation game, y'all, is real. There are private equity firms running around aggregating everything. PitchBook, I think, shared an article. It might have been PitchBook. Maybe it was Morning Brew. I'm sorry I'm not citing this properly, but somebody this weekend sent me an email saying that there's $3.2 trillion of private equity money waiting on the sidelines, which just blows my mind to even begin to think about. They're going to have to deploy that somehow. Private equity guys don't get paid by making money. They get paid by spending money, oddly, just super weird. Cybersecurity startup Upwind Security raises $250 million. Again, if you're looking for an opportunity, cybersecurity is it. Even if it's not if you don't know what the hell you're doing. People will pay you just to say that they paid somebody. There's an urgent need for SMBs to invest in robust protection because cloud complexity is increasing and will only continue to increase. If I missed a story that you think I should have hit, please hit me in the comments. I go live every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern. My hope is that I get to give you a sigh of relief so that when you get to the end of your day, you don't feel like you're still behind. I want you to feel caught up, informed, up to date, knowing everything there is to know. And if you tuned in live, I really appreciate you. So for live, I see, what do I see? George, thank you. Amanda, Doriel. Hey, Doriel. Doriel's an extraordinary artist, by the way. Go Google Doriel Caney. Coach Cav, Shyla Day, Laura, Hannah Elizabeth, It's Juan Lazo, McBirdface, and Amanda says, I'd rather pay for it. Yeah, no, me too. I'd rather pay for AI than be prostituted by AI. Y'all, I did it in 11 minutes today. You're welcome. Tune in tomorrow. If you want the Daily Sigh delivered directly to your inbox, go to dailysigh.ai. Now, great big deep breath in. Let it out. Feel good. You're all the way caught up.